Hey guys, another problem from chapter 8.1, Basics of Hypothesis Testing. And pretty much with this problem, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the steps for the hypothesis test. So, really not a word problem, not a bunch of information we have to discern. It's given to us straightforward. So the test statistic of z equals 0.62 is obtained when testing the claim that p is greater than 0.5. So they want us to identify the hypothesis test as being two-tailed, left-tailed, or right-tailed, and that involves steps 1, 2, and 3. And we'll go through uh, each step. So step 1 is just going to be to ID the claim. Okay, step 1. And what we know is that p is greater than 0.5. So p is greater than 0.5. And this is the original claim. So we've identified the original claim. And step 2 is going to be writing in symbolic form. So this is what our original claim says. P is greater than 0.5. So what is the opposite? What contains everything else? Less than or equal to 0.5. I've accounted for 100% of my data now by doing that. In step 3, we'll call it ID the null and alternate hypotheses. So uh, my null hypothesis is simply p is equal to 0.5. My alternate hypothesis does not contain equality. My null hypothesis does not contain equality. I'll even write that down. Never. Anytime you have a symbol there, it's either greater than, less than, or not equal. So it does not contain equality. And it determines what test I'm going to do. Two-tailed, left-tailed, right-tailed. My inequality is pointing to the right, so it is a right-tailed test. Step 4 is significance level. I'll abbreviate that with alpha. And it was given. Alpha equals 0.10. Let me circle that. In step 5, we need to ID the test statistic. And again, that was given. Z equals 0.62. So I'll come up here to do the work for this. And that what I need to do is I need to look up this z-score. I'm still with step 5. Well, sorry, step 6. I combine a lot of these steps, so it's different for me. I do steps 1, 2, and 3 together. So this is step 6, and we'll call it the p-value method. That's what we're working on. We're not working on the critical value. This is where it branches at step 6. So step 6 is the p-value method. And what I know is that I have my z-score. I'll write it there, 0.62. Whenever I look this up in my table A2, I'm going to be given this area. But I'm dealing with the right tail. This right here is what I'm concerned with. This area. So whenever I look that up, using my z-score 0.662, so I have z equals 0.62. I'm going to use my table and find out what is that probability. So in my table, let's see, 0.6 and 2, I have 7324, 0.7324. That is this area. That is this, 0.7324. So what I need to do is I need to say 1 minus 0.7324, which gives me, calculator, 2676. So 0.2676 is that area. This right here. This is the area inside of there. My p-value is that area. And step 7 and 8 are combined. This is where we're going to determine to reject or fail. And how I do that is a p-value that is less than or equal to alpha, p-value greater than alpha. We reject the null hypothesis, or we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So I take my p-value and I just write it down, and I leave a space for my inequality symbol, and then I write down my significance level, 0.10. This is greater than this, so it goes this way. So what does that tell me? It says fail to reject. I fail to reject. And what that says, and this is step 8. I'll write it up here or over here. And more or less says there is not sufficient evidence to support the claim, and then that p is greater than 0.5. We really don't have a definitive claim. This was just basic information, numeric values given to us. There's not really that thing that we can say. We reject the claim that boys are born at a greater percent than girls or something. Okay, so but fail to reject H naught. Again, H naught was that p was equal to 0.5. So what we're saying is we fail to reject that. We're not saying that this is true, that p is greater than 0.5. We're just saying that, and we're not saying that p is equal to 0.5. What we're saying is that we cannot say that this is not true. So, all right, guys. Basic introduction to hypothesis testing. And you need to follow the steps. The steps will walk you through the hypothesis testing. You have to become familiar with those. Outside of familiar with those, the only thing that it correlates is in step 6 with the p-value for p-value testing, is making sure that you're drawing that diagram. I mean, you even draw the diagram whenever you're doing the critical value method, but draw that diagram to make sure that you're oriented to what is the probability that you're finding, that p-value. Otherwise, please watch your publisher's videos, structure and critically think while you're doing your homework, please, and good luck on your homework.